So Beirut is the only place in the world where I look both sides before crossing a one-way street. And given Nada's story about a guy going on against the road and she shouts at him, everyone seems to be in a hurry to go places, and all our day is go, go, go. But then you look, morning coffee in Lebanon is a 6 to 7 hour affair, and getting your argile is also another 6 to 7 hour affair. So there goes the whole day. My story is a few months ago. I was headed to the airport and I was making my way down, and this very cool broken car with tinted windows blaring really loud, obnoxious music cuts me off, and I didn't make much of it, so I just overtook him and continued my merry way. And then I reached a red light. So by the time I reached my red light, he had caught up to me and started blaring his illegal sirens and looking out of the window and moving and like, move. So I decided to ignore him and play some Stevie Ray Vaughan, Little Wing, one of the best guitar solos in all time, if I may say so. So I was there listening to Stevie jamming, and the guy with the tinted windows decided he had enough and climbed the sidewalk and inched his way towards my car. He lowered his window and started yelling profanities in Arabic. So I thought he was trying to have a conversation and like, move your car please. And so I rolled down my window and I said, Ishara Hamra. So he said, all the people are animals? You think we're all garbage? Is this the way you treat others? So I just looked at him and said, Ishara Hamra, what would you expect me to do? So he yelled some more, used really profane words, and I very calmly looked at him and said, أنا بفضل ما أسمع هيك كلام. It seems that pissed him off even more. So he rammed my car once, twice, thrice, and I just sat there calm. And this never happens. I'm half Lebanese, half Greek, so so I'm sorry, Italians in the crowd. Lebanese have the hottest blood. Greeks have the hottest blood, and both are the hottest blood in the Mediterranean. You disagree, but but it's true. You've seen my big fat Greek wedding, right? So I, for some reason, remained super calm and super chill. And I just rolled down my window and looked him in the eye and said, هيك بتعاملني أنا ابن بلدك. I know, very, very patriotic. And he was a middle-aged man, yeah. So I looked at him and then I continued. I said, أنا ممكن كون بعمر ابنك. He seemed to have a shock, and then I noticed there were a few religious icons and rosaries, and I looked at them and told him, is this what your faith tells you to do? To treat your fellow neighbor? You're supposed to turn the other cheek, not ram your car into them. So imagine if we were pedestrians on the sidewalk and he was trying to cut across me. Anyway, so there was a cop texting in the distance, and I tried to get the cop's attention. I flicked my lights, honked my horn, nothing. And the guy next to me decided he had enough of my reverse psychology and just sped off, and the red light was still red. A few seconds later, it turned green, and I decided it's time to continue on my merry way. And I just stopped next to the cop and told him, ما بدك تعمل شيء? It was just, شو? خلص يعطيك العافية وطن. And I just continued. A few meters ahead, the guy with the very cool tinted car was waiting there, and I said, oh no, is he following me? So I tried to pass, and he was like, what if? So I pulled over, and I'm like, please, بدي روح على المطار, ما عندي وقت. And he just said, ليه ما عصبت? And I thought to myself, I don't even know the answer. شو بدي أقول له? So I just told him, there's no reason for me to get upset. إنه بالآخر هيدا حديد بيتصلح. He said, no, there's another reason. I told him, no, seriously, why should I ruin my mood and my calmness because of something stupid you did? I could flare up, and then you would flare up, and then I would flare up. And then we would butt heads, and maybe you have a gun. I don't want to risk my life for my car. And I tried calling the policeman, but he didn't answer. And then he said, but the words you told me, like, إنه نحن نفس الشيء, we're both humans. I could be your son's age. I could be your grandson's age. This really affected me. And I looked at him and said, I meant those words. Typically, when you see people fighting, you always hear about people ramming each other or someone coming عكس السير, and then shots are fired in certain parts of Lebanon. People die over these things. So this isn't a joke. Like I'm not going to risk my life or your life for this. And a few words affected you and made you treat me. I said nothing to you, and you treated me this way. But then I told you we are the same, and it affected you. And the man started crying. He was an old. He looked like he was really affected, and he asked me, "Please forgive me." And I told him, "I forgive you, but don't do this again." we should. The roles should be reversed. I should be the one who's yelling at you, and you should be calming me down. And he looked at me and said, I will never forget this day. I will always remember this day. And this is the first time I share this story with other people, because I didn't see its significance until I saw the Hakaya عكس. And the first thing that popped in my mind is, like, when I cross a one-way street, I look both ways. And then I remembered this story, that the way we treat others stems from in us. We should change ourselves before we attempt to change the world. There's a nice story that I always like to tell. It's about Zeus. He was up in the clouds, probably swiping right on his Olympus Tinder, trying to match with everyone and turn into a swan. And then he hears, with his special hearing, a guy yelling, "Oh, Zeus, help me, help me." So he looks down, he sees a guy sitting on a carriage. And Zeus decides to go down to the earth and turn into an old man. So he approaches the guy on the carriage and says, "Oh, what's wrong, my son?" And the carriage driver says, "Nothing is wrong, old man. Zeus will help me." So, no, tell me, what's wrong? So he says, "It's nothing. My tire is stuck in the mud." So Zeus poses the old man, looks at him and says, "My son, have you considered pushing the cart before?" And the guy says, "Okay, sure. Will you push with me, old man?" He said, "Yeah, but you push first." So they both push together, and then Zeus turns into his awesome self and flexes his biceps and says, "The gods will not do for you what you won't do for yourself. So you always take the initial step." And I believe we should start this way, by respecting ourselves, not being dragged into society's headbutting. I should have the final say. No one should break my word. No, let's actually turn the other cheek. And I'm not saying go into fights and let other people beat you up, but we need to relax and treat others the way we want to be treated. And I believe this is my experience that happened a few months ago, and it did in a way affect me and how I treat people. And I'd like to give a shout out to one of our audience members in the back, Soha, who always used to say, there's an Arabic quote which I don't remember, but her version is "Al-basma bil-basma wal-badi ajmal." So if you smile first, you're not going to lose anything. You'll be even more attractive to the person that's smiling at you. So remember that next time you swipe. Thank you.